Hi everyone, I wanted to do a 3-year update of our food forest. I put out a 1-year and a 2-year and now year 3. They said just wait 3 years and it's happening. 3 years is the magic spot. Alright, so our tree that did start fruiting within a year, I'll show you first. Oh, sorry, let me go back. Lighting's wrong. Hold on. Nope, lost the lighting. All right, I am in zone pretty much 10A. Like I'm on the border of 9B, 10A. Pretty much acts like 10A though. Every once in a while we never get frost here. Because I'm kind of on a pond and my sister-in-law's house 2 streets over gets frost, but I don't here. At least in quite a few years. So 10A, so I don't really have to deal with frost, but it gets very hot. Right now it's August, so it's very hot. So I'm on the east coast of Florida around 10A. So now I'll show you everything. Hopefully the lighting will cooperate with us. So this tree here is our star fruit. So this one has done very well. Look at all of our fruit. Now each year it's produced a good bunch for us. And then we have some other branches that are just now flowering. So we kind of do some nice succession. And I don't love the fruit just off the tree, but I dry it. And I think the dehydrated fruit is delicious. So we kind of just have some native island going on here, some oaks that come up, our scrub palms. So this one has doubled in size. It's only been here about a year and we haven't had rain in like 2 weeks, so he's a little thirsty. But we have our patomba here, and his tag is still loose. You got to be careful not to leave tags on because sometimes it strangles the tree. And then here's our beautyberry, the native beautyberry that pops up everywhere. The birds reseed it, but this makes an awesome jam. They are edible berries, but they just taste like earth if you eat them just like this. But when you put it in a jam, it's fabulous with butter on a biscuit. All right, so we got some weeds, some regular old decorative ixoras, and then we have some gingers up here. Not sure which ones. I know it's not the like ginger, but flower ginger. All right, sugar apple. I will have to try to insert a different video or picture where it had sugar apples. We just took our last one off. There's one that kind of like dried up on the vine here, but I saw a lot of videos where this was hard to pollinate. I did nothing to it and got about 15 sugar apple this year. So that tree is one of our first trees that we put in. So he is definitely planted 3 years old. I don't know how old he was when we originally got him in his little 3-gallon pot. I got a little spider web. You go, buddy. Our lychee tree is a little sad. It has some sort of lychee illness I have to deal with. We won't really discuss, but I'll work on him. All right, next we have a June plum or hog plum that is ginormous. So we're gonna have to Google some amendments or something because he hasn't given us any fruit yet, and he's pretty big. He's probably about 2 years old. The cable guy came by and worked on our cable, and it was so sweet. He's like, "Oh, hey, you have a Jamaican cherry." I'm like, "Oh, wow, he knows fruit trees." So, anyways, we talked about it. I gave him some seeds, some clippings, and the next day the cable guy came by and gave us a bunch of plants, which was super cool. So this one, that's why I'm not sure this one is the hog or the June, because I kind of got the two confused, and they're in the yard. So anyways, this one's nice and big. and we need to work on getting him to fruit. All right, we have a jamberry right here. So it's got, or berry jam, I don't know which way you say it. It's got some fruit. Let's see if we have ripe. It's ripe when it kind of turns yellow. So no ripe ones on it just yet. But seriously, this one has like little jam. It's like a little bit of jam in there that is just like if you opened a jar and ate some jam. All right, so we've got, so those are some dwarf Barbados cherries. We'll see if they actually work out. I have to cover things because the bunnies or the turtles just munch things until it dies. I was a little late covering my hibiscus, and I don't think he's coming back. They chomped that one down. Everberry mulberry. This thing is fantastic. We get tons of little mulberries on here, and the neighbors come and eat them and pick them, and they're wonderful. Sorry, the neighbor kids are like 7 and 8, so it's one of their favorite things to do. Oh my gosh, look, it's just loaded. They're little, but they're delicious. And it's everbearing, so most of the year it is fruiting, and then when it gets too tall, I just cut it down. It grows and fruits again. All right, so we have our guanabana soursop tree. This thing has like tripled in size, and it has probably been here 2 years. So that one's doing pretty well. Here's another beautyberry that just popped up in the yard, along with some of that large leaf oregano that's creeps everywhere. Here's our grumachama. Again, everybody's a little thirsty right now. We've gone through no rain for about 2 weeks. So he's growing. No fruit from him. He's quite slow grower. This is our Jamaican cherry tree or strawberry tree, or Muntinga, I think is its technical name. This thing is my favorite. It is loaded with all these little cherries everywhere. If I can get some good light here. Loaded with red cherries. So I just eat them like a snack. I think they taste like cotton candy. My husband does not like them at all, so I get to enjoy all of them. And Mr. Turtle. I find Mr. Turtle down here munching on all of them quite often. Okay, over here in this little area, we have our black sapote tree, which has, I don't know, 10 times its size because it started as a little 3-gallon pot. It is one of our ones that has been here 3 years. He tries to make flowers, but he drops them all. He's not quite ready to fruit, and that's okay, but very pretty. Love the leaves on that one. So here's the other one that's a June plum or hog plum. I'm not sure, so we'll see. Also hasn't fruited, so we'll figure that one out. We have a dwarf moringa up here. So that one's always nice. I dry the leaves and add it to everything. I do not like it, just eat it raw. It kind of has that horseradishy taste. My husband doesn't mind. He'll just pop them and eat them. It's too bitter for me. So I dry them, powder them, or just halfway grind them up, and then it looks kind of like dried parsley. And then I add it to everything. I add it to eggs, I add it to tacos, you name it. My son was like, hey mom, we're adding parsley. I'm like, just add some moringa, it's fine. So pretty much add it to everything, and that's nice. So here is our Tice mulberry. Has not produced a whole bunch of fruit, but boy, when the fruit are there, are they sweet. So I'm hoping it gets happier and kind of does a higher production here soon. All right, walking into the backyard. Just started using this rolling compost thing because my neighbor was getting rid of it. And so hopefully that'll turn out pretty good. I have 2 jaboticabas flanking each side. So they're pretty happy in their little pots, but it might be another couple years before we get them. I think those have been in there 2.5 years. This bed just had a bunch of flowers and stuff, but I've kind of redone it. I put some black-eyed peas in there, so they're kind of popping up. So that one's kind of in the process. We've got our passion fruit vine coming over this trellis. And then it's going all the way up the, that's actually strawberry guava tree that I don't know how long has been here. That is the one fruit tree that did come with the house. So we get a lot of strawberry guavas off of that, but most of them have the little caterpillar in it, bug. So we don't eat very many of those. All right, so coming into the backyard. Sorry, it's probably pretty dark. I had the table right here on the patio, and I was opening a bunch of the roselle seeds, and then some of them fell. And now I have volunteer roselle everywhere, and they're making a beautiful little wall here. And then some turmeric popping up there. So these are nice. I love making tea out of these, drying them, and then making the tea out of the calyx. So those are lovely. We're into the pathway. This pathway is usually just mulch, but it's currently weeds, sweet potato spillover. This root beer plant kind of takes over. We were forewarned. So I do not recommend this one. I just like the novelty of it being the root beer plant. Here is the blue butterfly pea. Love making the tea out of this, and it's taken over the trellis, so finally that's nice. We have a little citrus tree here. That one doing pretty good. Try to keep the citrus next to the oaks. Fingers crossed that helps them out. This is our pomegranate. Thought I just saw a pomegranate. The beginning of summer, this was loaded with pomegranates. So this produces very well. It was given to me as a tiny stick of a clipping, and 2 years later it turned into this. Here's our banana circles. Circle one. We have dwarf Namois, so that's produced a couple racks, delicious for us. And then we have some Mysore bananas producing up there. Another mulberry. This is one we took from the neighbors, clipping from the neighbor's yard. The pest keeps eating the bugs, and it hasn't produced too many mulberries, so we're going to give it a little more time, and we might take it down if it's not really producing much. Our prickly pear cactus is doing well, and there's sweet potato vines throughout here because I didn't think about them rerooting when I just threw them in the banana pit. We try to compost a lot of stuff in the banana pit circle. Okay, so this section here, the cassava or yucca is ginormous. It has done its job of summer shade. Also put in a Seminole pumpkin vine that has taken over, so I'm trying to watch closely to make sure we don't smother out anything. Like here is our lemon drop mangosteen tree. Slow growing, but it's been here about a little over a year, and it has tripled in size, so that's good. We got a loquat in there. Under there, it's very hard to see, is a jujube. Actually has some fruit on it this year, and one of the hurricanes, it broke over, so it just has one side branch, but it's hanging on. It's currently got some sweet potatoes on it, but I need to take, sorry, not sweet potato, Seminole pumpkin vine on it that we need to take off. So right after this video, it is time to start cleaning up the yard. Our mango is gotten nice and big. It did not produce any mangoes this year, so I fingers crossed next year we're gonna get some mangoes on it. There's a little evergreen, what is this? Everglades, there you go, Everglades tomato that just pops up. They pop up all over the yard, so this one's usually full of tomatoes. Here's our katuk, that's doing very well. And then here is another Jaboticaba that the Seminole pumpkin vine has climbed up. So, need to come in here and try to start controlling some of this. Alright, so, and this I think has been the biggest change in the yard. We had brought it out a little further. And then we are going to fill in more, bring it out to connect to this circle. So we've got our pigeon pea,
Got a little scorpion tail native flower down there. And on the other side, we have our butterscotch sapodilla. Very excited about this little guy. So, it'll be a little while since he's growing. All right, so this is the back side of my vegetable garden. I just have a little bamboo fence and chicken wire, and that's where I do my vegetable garden. We did a whole row of the everbearing mulberries because I love them and we eat a lot of them. And then currently the loofah vine has kind of taken over, so they're so pretty, the loofah flowers. And then I use it for the dried loofah sponge. Now my favorite dish sponge. Okay, we've got dragon fruit. Alright, I think this is a pink variety that I had got from somebody when I picked up some gingers. It produces these flowers and then the fruit all drops. I've tried to pollinate, cross-pollinate. I don't have another plant though that is flowering at the same time to cross-pollinate flowers. So if anybody has any tips on why we're not actually getting fruit from that, all I can guess is it needs a separate plant. So I'm trying to get more plants going. So this is a new little area. We recently added in and planted some more of our clippings. So that's another one of the neighbors' mulberries we're trying to get started. I put some more roselle in here, a fig. We're going to have a banana. This is kind of a low area where water collects. So we're going to put our banana circle here. So we've got 2 little tiny bananas so far. Here is our, I hope the wind is not affecting the video. Here is our elderberry. So it's got pretty flowers. Oh, there's the elderberry fruit. And it's got some pretty flowers on it. So that's nice. Here's our rainbow eucalyptus tree. Getting more and more color. All right, and this is my funny papaya. So I dug a deep hole about 2 feet down and put some of our rotten papayas from that large tree way over there. And of course, then we got one volunteer. So here's our papaya tree over our wax jujube. That looks happy and healthy and full of papayas. We had a huge problem with the papaya flies, whatever they're called, and we just ignored them for a long time, and they get a couple, but now the papayas are so productive that it's not affecting them. Another cassava that's quite out of control. Oh, I missed the citrus on the other side. Another elderberry ice cream bean. I used to be able to walk through here, so the ice cream bean just needs to get a little taller, then we'll be able to walk under. The cassavas we kind of move around, so we just use them as shade plants, and there was a cassava right here that I recently pulled out and processed. So even here I was not able to walk through this area at all. So now that's pulled out the cassava and we're able to walk through. A Barbados cherry right here. The other one was taller and skinnier and I couldn't reach a lot of the fruit. This one's low and bushy, so it's nice because you can reach all the fruit on there. All right, if you've been following our video each year, I'm not sure this poor little avocado has gotten much bigger. So hopefully it's established now. This is the Super Haas, but it's still so small. But it's been growing, it produces new growth. So we're working on it. There was a papaya here. There's a fallen one. So of course it has some volunteers. Lemongrass needs to get cut back because I think there's some sort of disease on it. Another Jaboticaba that has been pushing out new growth, so it's just adjusting to its new spot. Another avocado. This one's our biggest one that is growing the best in its spot. And it is a Brogden. I'm sure you can see that. All right, we've got a fig here, lots of pineapples throughout the yard, and another strawberry tree, Jamaican cherry. Put that one there as a good shade tree because this fig we're going to eventually take out because it just gets way too big. Here's our other avocado. And this one is a Mishkiwaka, however you say that. So another papaya tree over there, and a moringa. We've got a breadfruit tree. He's doing pretty well. The cold, I have to cover him. He gets sad, drops his leaf, but it has not died when we get a little bit of those 38 degrees nights in February. So longevity spinach, we struggled forever to grow it because the bunnies kept eating it. So I would cover them with chicken wire. I'd make a little chicken wire box, cover it, and then when it was finally established, it takes over. So this is kind of the longevity spinach area. Anywhere else in the yard it is, I do plan on possibly removing it since we have so much here. That way it doesn't smother some of the smaller plants I have on the other side. So cherry tree, Jamaican cherry. All right, here's our little station where I kind of propagate, plant some more seeds. We got flower seeds in there. We got a loquat from our friend, so we'll put that in the yard soon. All right, peppers are taking off. I've got some peppers all in here, so that's the garden stuff. Okay, one more area of the food forest type area. I love this. This is so nice and yummy. It's called cranberry hibiscus. It produces this beautiful red flower also. So it tastes like cranberries. Seriously, you eat the little leaves, the young. Delicious. Add it to salad. Here's some cassava that I had taken out from here, and the one over there. And I need to make clippings of it. Sweet almond. Just smells great, but it does smell wonderful. We've got 3 coconut over here that are planted those 3 years ago, and they're finally decent sized. Not sure when they start to produce coconut, but I mean they are gigantic. Here's some of the longevity that I'd like to take out. Put more wildflowers here. Nice ginormous trunk coconut trees. Papaya tree, one of the volunteers that was over there in the mix of ones that I'm going to take out. Those 2 I'll leave. So some, when they were smaller, I did move them here because I thought this was pretty genius that I'm up on the edge here of the patio garden section. Okay, so then I can just pick them, and I don't have to get a ladder out like I did before. And this is like my propagation area. Start seedlings. We've got a loquat ready to go in the ground that our friend gave us from his yard. Look how pretty that loquat is. Look at the branching on that one. So pretty. Another moringa, full of seed pods there. Another papaya. And our breadfruit tree, which is amongst the longevity spinach patch. So beautiful breadfruit tree. All right, I'm sure I've missed some things here and there, but for the most part, I think we hit all of it. So that's what I'm growing for the fruit trees. So that's kind of like the food forest tour. I missed a lot of the understory, different things we have all over, but I didn't want it to be too long of a video. And I'm going to really work on growing the vegetables for the fall and winter. So if you're interested in those, keep a lookout for those videos.
Thank you so much for watching, friends. I will see you soon. Bye.